Michael Porter has everybody mad. Young player, phenomenal player, can flat out ball, can put the ball in the basket at any given time. All he needs is the rock. But if he says that, then there's a problem. In the Clippers-Nuggets series, we've seen back and forth play. And before the Clippers-Nuggets series, we've seen some incredibly hot play from Jamal Murray, not only Jamal Murray, but Nikola Jokic. And if you ask me, throughout the entire playoffs, I feel like Jokic flat out hasn't been getting the props that he deserves. Everybody talks about his poor defense, when the truth is his offensive impact far outweighs his defensive deficiencies. I mean, obviously though, right? Nikola, he gives you one of the best offensive bigs in the game, if not the very best. He's a high-level playmaker that finds everybody when they're open, except perhaps Michael Porter Jr. That's crazy, right? So again, we have Jokic, incredibly talented scorer, incredibly talented passer, has been, for lack of a better term, balling this series. Jokic and Murray, both players who have displayed phenomenal individual brilliance, but it simply hasn't been enough to push them past the Los Angeles Clippers. This video, we're going to be talking about Michael Porter Jr.'s comments and everybody around the NBA reacting to them. I want to kind of play both sides of this, so I think you'll get an interesting perspective regardless of what you came to this video expecting. Now, with that being said, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another Get Like Coop video. And that's facts. If you haven't subscribed to my NFL channel, Red Zone Coop, the link is in the description below. Be sure to check that out if you like NFL football. With the season starting today, you might not want to miss out. So a reporter basically asked Michael Porter, what does he feel he can do more to get more involved on the offensive side of the basketball? And he follows up with this response.
I mean, that's really up to the play calls. It's really up to the coaches who they want to put the ball in whose hand. We kept going to Yoke and Maul, and that's, I think they're two amazing players, so you can never get mad at that. But I just think to beat that team, we got to get more players involved. We got to move the ball a little bit better. We can't be predictable against that team.
So I just played the clip that has everybody around the NBA disappointed, disgusted, upset. Pick your term of frustration with Michael Porter Jr. Now, I'm going to give you guys my personal opinion regarding this clip. So when I heard this clip, the first thing I thought about was, is Michael Porter Jr. wrong? And I want you guys to answer that question in the comments below. And if you answer it with some meaning. Tell me why you think he was wrong, or tell me why you think he shouldn't have said these comments. Now, first off, I'm just asking if he was wrong. I'm not asking, should he have said this to the media? I'm just saying, was the point that he made wrong? Because I think we can all come to an agreement that he shouldn't have said what he said to the media. But again, this is something that I feel like is getting blown out of proportion. And it's not just getting blown out of proportion by the fans and the media. It's getting blown out of proportion by some players also. But at the same time, I understand where some players are coming from, because you really don't want to give the media any fire. It's already a tough series. We understand that. I think Michael Porter Jr. was simply frustrated after a tough game and not exactly seeing the looks he wanted in the second half after dropping 15 in the first half. Michael Porter Jr. is a phenomenal player, and the truth is, in this series, the Nuggets have been better with him on the floor. Now, I'm coming strictly from a statistical standpoint. Look, I know Michael Porter Jr. isn't the perfect defender. You could even say he's been bad during stretches in the playoffs. On the stance of, if you're playing Michael Porter Jr., you probably want him out there scoring the basketball. You're not exactly playing him for his defense right now in his career. Yes, he does bring other things to the floor. Yes, he is a threat at all times. Phenomenal rebounder. Great paint presence down low. He can give you some blocks. He's a big guy, big wingspan, long-standing reach. But again, if you're playing MPJ, you probably want him out there scoring the ball. And it's hard to score the ball if you don't have the ball or you don't touch the ball. Now, to play the other side of Michael Porter Jr.'s comments, 44 field goal attempts, 2 assists. Not the highest level of playmaker, not right now in his career. This is a rookie questioning, should stars be getting the ball as much as they have? And one of those stars being one of the best passers in the NBA. Notice I didn't say best passers for a big man. I said one of the best passers in the NBA. And that's because I truly believe Jokic is that good. Throughout the entire series, the Denver Nuggets have a minus 31 point differential. In Michael Porter's 79 minutes of action, the score is dead even. He was a +6 the only game he took more than 10 shots. But again, only 2 assists on the series. I do think Porter Jr. was also right in the aspect that the Nuggets are a very talented team. And what they've doing hasn't exactly been working, and it wouldn't hurt to mix things up going into the next game. How often can you do the same thing and expect different results? Let's look at some of the players' reactions. This is the part that really got me because I didn't think it would be this big of a deal. But hey, sometimes it's like, what do I know? So we got Damian Lillard. He comes out, SMDH, shaking my head. He says, yes, he is wrong. If you know, you know. And I'm going to leave it at that. He also says, y'all clearly think on a selfish level to think that this is cool. He also says, this is their second time being down 3-1. So if Jokic and Murray don't carry them there, we wouldn't be having this convo. I'm at home because we lost to the Lakers. Team ball got us out the mud and in the playoffs. Rudy Gay says, what's the debate? Imagine somebody with no experience telling you what to do on your job. Kendrick Perkins says, this is not it, young fella. Jameer Nelson says, young dudes feel entitled and don't understand the offense runs through the best players. Jordan McRae says, you can't say things like that, especially when they're picking on you on the defensive side of the basketball. I think everybody throughout this whole scenario, through everything going on, through everything that was said, have very valid points. And to clarify what I said earlier, again, I think Michael Porter Jr. may have had a point to what he was saying, but for him to be the one to say this, I think it's just sort of wrong in the aspect that he isn't on the level of a Jamal Murray, of a Nikola Jokic, whether it's from a playmaking standpoint. You guys saw what I said earlier, only 2 assists. If you want offense, if you want the offense to be ran through you, you have to be a dominant scorer, one of the best in the entire NBA, or you have to make up for your scoring deficiencies with passing. And if you're one of the best players in the game, like a LeBron James, then you can do both. If you're one of the best offensive players in the game, like a Nikola Jokic, then you can do both. You can not only score the ball, but you can pass the ball and make your teammates better. Though this does make me wonder, are the Denver Nuggets too young and talented for their own good? Is Michael Porter Jr. going to end up being the odd person out, or somebody that feels like they have to eventually leave the team to fulfill their true potential? Be sure to click the video on the screen right now. I'm GETLIKECOOP, guys, and I am out.